Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday night. So welcome to the Motor Stardom Show, the second one of the NASCAR season officially. We're back from a weekend at Echo Park Speedway, where we saw three races, trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup. Three very interesting races in their own right. Great finishes at the end. We're always going to see in these drafting racetracks. The Truck Series was ran on a time limit, had to finish by 4:20 Eastern. If you watched that, you saw the chaos there, at least maybe the confusion that ensued at the end. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, best race of the weekend, in my opinion. Absolute banger. The race, the stage finishes, the lead up to the finish, the finish. Everything was absolutely incredible. And then the Cup Series at Atlanta is always a great time with how big the runs are, how great the racing is there. So that was certainly exciting. We'll talk all about it. So let's bring in the guy who, again, for the second week in a row, was kablammed in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. But a lot of better stuff to look forward to this season. But how are we doing? Still in Florida, where it's a little bit warmer than it was in Atlanta. Mason Maggio, what's up?
Man, I'm sick physically, if you can't already tell by my congestion, but I'm also sick of this bad luck that we've had the last 2 weeks. I mean, we were having a great race. DGM brought another fast Chevrolet with freerent.org on the car. It was great to have all those guests out this past weekend. We were having a good run. We were doing everything right. We were biding our time, and we were cracking our way towards the top 15. I felt like we could add a top 10, top 15 finish somewhere in that time frame, or in that space rather. And unfortunately, it's out of our control. Sammy Smith lost the tire going into one, and we were part of the biggest wreck in the O'Reilly race. So that was interesting. Thought we were going to get back out there and give it a shot, but unfortunately, the motor had other plans. So the motor let go on us, so we ended up 26th. Not the showing that we wanted for either car. Been a tough start to our season, but we got Carson Quapple in the 91 this weekend, so really excited for them and that whole DGM group for having him in the car, and I think we're going to have a good result. Looking forward to being back in the car on my end in a couple weeks, but we got an exciting show. We got Caleb Costner, a ARCA team owner and driver, and now a Truck Series team owner and driver, and then we got Garrett Smithley, who's a good friend of the show and had a good run this past weekend. So we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Echo Park Speedway has not disappointed and continues to show why it's one of the most sought out races to watch.
Exactly. And you mentioned it, the guest that we have on the show, Garrett Smithley, joins us at 7 Eastern. Caleb Costner just a little bit here at 6:10 Eastern. We'll be recapping Atlanta, talking about all the storylines here on the show. But without further ado, let me bring in something fun that we talked about a little bit last week. We're going to be doing all year long as a guest co-host, or in this particular situation, guest co-hosts, the two gentlemen that broadcast the Daytona Charity Shootout the last handful of years, and a ton of amazing iRacing action, including the Venom Truck Series, who are very close to myself and Motor Stardom. Happy birthday, John K., by the way. So let's bring in the two gentlemen here. Tommy Cook, play-by-play announcer, Matt Williamson, color commentator, does all the graphics and everything as well. Both of you guys are absolute champions at what you do for the iRacing service, for the Venom service, but for me as well, the Daytona Charity Shootout every year. So how we doing?
Great. Very good. Excited that Matt actually made it. I didn't know.
Matt made it on
The rumors were swirling that he might not make it in time.
I made it on time. Still have my work clothes on, but we're here. So
yeah, I mean, I guess we're working, somewhat, may say, on the Motor Stardom Show. Boys, I believe you did meet. Mason was here for the iRacing episode, right?
Yeah.
So you have met Mason Maggio.
Hello again.
Perfect.
Hello. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I didn't think I'd be here either, but because I'm sick. But the people from Motor Stardom, we got to be there for them. So respect that.
Damn right.
Were you racing sick on Saturday as well, or did this just happen in the last couple of days?
No, I started feeling it Sunday night. As soon as I get home, I'm like, all right, cool. I get to relax. And the next thing you know, I'm like, all right, I'm congested. All right, I got a slight headache. All right, I'm achy. Ah, damn it. This is going to be a fun couple days. But thankfully today we're a little bit better, but still not ideal after what was already a tough weekend at Atlanta. I was just telling RJ, I'm sick of the bad luck on the racetrack, and I'm sick of being sick as well. So we're only down ever so slightly, but we're on our way back on the rise up.
Yep, one too many Bud Lights for Mason Maggio, and
That is not true.
That's fair,
That is not true. RJ, you had more than me. What do you mean?
Oh, all right. That's a lie. All right, I got there late.
Okay, you had
Allegedly.
one more than me. All right.
But so Mason here, obviously, and that's perfectly fine. He's had a rough few weeks where he's going to come back even better. You mentioned Carson Quapple in the car. Awesome deal for DGM Racing there, and Mason to be teammates with Carson Quapple and a few other big names that I know will be announced soon in that stable. But I want to kind of talk before we bring Caleb in here. We got to talk about my personal favorite, best moment of the weekend. Let's watch it here. Let's watch it back. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Echo Park Speedway, where it looked like Austin Hill was going to do it again. Like, dude started middle of the pack, started right behind Mason, made his way all the way up front, had an issue in middle of the race as well, had to go to the back, and we're all sitting here like, no way. Even Jamie McMurray with the call on the backstretch, I believe. I can turn it up here. Austin Hill has done it once again, but Ross Chastain gets the run. He just swerves down to the left. There goes Hill. Incredible save, by the way, to not murder everybody. And Sheldon Creed, the guy who has finished second place at 500,000 times, it seems like, is the guy that gets it done at Atlanta. An incredible finish. And I think it's just an awesome story. I'll start with you, Tommy, where Sheldon, a guy who already, like, it, no matter what, even if he dominated, led every lap of the most boring race ever, it was going to be a great story that Sheldon Creed won a race. But how about in the fashion that we just watched, that last lap? Do you think it makes him feel any better that it was like an insane finish that'll be talked about probably for a long time?
I mean, he set himself up perfectly. He was pushing the second most aggressive driver in the field into the first most aggressive driver in the field. I mean, could not have set it up more perfectly than that. It is a great story, though. I didn't realize, one, that Brian Scott had never won an O'Reilly Series race before, but I didn't realize how many times Sheldon Creed had come in second. I think they said 15 before his first win. I mean, we all know that he's been knocking on the door for a long time, but I mean, to do it in just at all is great, but also in spectacular fashion, like you said, that locks it in as a moment forever for him.
Exactly. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's been on the other end of it so many times that it's just incredible for one to actually go his way finally. I know in the Venom Truck Series, we have a bunch of Sheldon Creed fans, and the chat was popping off on Saturday night. They were all excited, and a bunch of us go to Bristol, and he had a really good showing in the fall last year when we all went too, and kind of came up short as well. So it was really cool to see it on Saturday for sure.
Yeah, and how about you, Mason? Obviously, we watched that finish back at the end of the night. How did you, as a guy that was in that race and felt how big those runs could be, did you think Ross Chastain was going to be able to get there on that last lap?
I mean, I would agree with that, RJ. I think the runs at Atlanta, I think that's what makes it stand out more than certain tracks is like the runs, but you got to have your car handling, right? But I mean, we knew Sheldon Creed has the talent, right, to do it. He's not a Truck Series championship or a Truck Series champion by fluke, right? We know he can drive. It's just a matter of the cards falling, right? It's a tough series, the O'Reilly Series is, but I mean, he stayed in contention. He was up towards the front all day long, played his cards right, and was there when it counts. Sometimes it's just a matter of being there when it counts, and he was there. So I mean, it was awesome to see. That was the one thing that I was like, well, I had a bad day, but at least Sheldon Creed got a win. So there was something that I could look at there and be like, oh, okay, like we can kind of have our own celebration to that. That's why whenever me and RJ cracked open a beer, I was like, this one's for Sheldon Creed. So, but no, it was a fantastic race, fantastic finish. It stunk watching it from pit road with white smoke coming out of my tailpipes. But no, it was definitely it's well deserved. A long time coming, and hopefully that just gives the 0-0 team an opportunity to build some momentum on for this season, and hopefully rack up a couple more wins.
Yeah, an amazing story for Sheldon as the Matrix has taken Matt Williamson away.
I'm still here, by the way. My camera
still
just
there.
stopped working for some reason.
I've had camera issues the last 2 weeks. It's been horrible. So we're
Hey
hoping.
man, technical difficulties in the Motor Stardom Show. That's like the cherry on top, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a regular here. So without further ado, we're gonna bring in a guy who is gonna have the best setup out of all of us, and I think he's been officially on the Motor Stardom one time, and he was also driving while he was on it. So this guy just nonstop driving here, nonstop team owning. Let's bring him in. Caleb Costner, how are we doing?
What's up, guys? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Oh, the audio is perfect. Holy cow, you sound like you're in a studio. You sound
Awesome.
great. Perfect. All right. So, man, I'll ask you first off, big weekend for you. Big weekend for you, not only driving the truck, but getting to own the truck for the first time in the Craftsman Truck Series. Obviously, you got your experience last year. You got to run, those races for Mike Harmon Racing, and now you come in this year, brand new truck for your team, Costner Motorsports. Big deal. I know the nerves were there all weekend until you were able to finally make it out on the racetrack. But just tell us all kind of, and tell the viewers as well, what that meant, for you and everybody that's been a part of your journey the last, 5+ years.
Yeah, man. It's absolutely insane, the journey that I've been on to this point. I don't know if you definitely couldn't have quite pictured it playing out everything like it has. It's just been wild. But again, I've just every year, try to set the bar higher, and continue to grow, and that's all you can do, right? With limited resources, and you watch other guys around you. I try to watch the Jordans and the Tommies and those type of the Joshes, the people who are building and do everything they can just to take their program to the next level. And we had on the ARCA team for the last 3 or 4 seasons, and learned a lot over those years, and wanted to figure out how do I take me and myself as a driver and a program forward. And I feel like we would do very well with the resources that we did have. And some opportunities came up last year. We could kind of talk a little bit about it. I don't know if the public really knows about it, but Mike called me, and he had a truck, and I had some resources, put them together. I knew we knew the type of deal that would probably be, but it would give me some seat time, and obviously not the best of equipment, but it would get me out there and get some check some boxes right along the way. And I was able to build in the meantime, at the same time, the whole time I'm over here working on something and trying to build something and get the list together, pretty much, things that I need to do better. And that's all season. Actually, you know what? Me there for a second. So wasn't exactly sure. You got me?
We got you back now.
You got me back now. Yeah, there you go. So we were having good thing there until I did have technical difficulties. So but yeah, anyways, no, so definitely was built on something big, and was really looking forward to starting the season, and not sure what all we could put together. But I've acquired some trucks, and it's really cool being able to see how far it's come and building the program up like we have. And I knew that if you can just show up, man, the hard part is showing up through the grind, right? It's just you get punched in the face, punched in the face. It feels like the whole universe is telling you, don't continue to do this. But you just keep showing up and you keep doing it. And that's what you have to do. You just can't give up. And I feel like that's the mentality I've had to have to keep being able to have the opportunities to get there. Cause there's a lot of days, right? You want to throw in a towel, and but it's really cool, like I said, to see how far we've come, and which ultimately led. We had a speedway truck. We got a speedway truck. We were thinking about going to Daytona. We did not make an announcement about how many races and what races and things like that. I mean, mainly just on my part of, wanting to be the best professional organization as we grow to kind of keep that image of, being able just to if we're not able to fulfill things that we say, it's just not the best look. So, right, just doing what we can with what we've got. And I bought a truck in preparation for that. Things just didn't work out, right? And I saw the count, and I just think it would be best for us to show up to, to a race that would be better for us. And we did. We showed up to Atlanta. It was a good opportunity, and things kind of panned out. And really didn't know what to expect, right? Going to the first weekend, you really just want to go out there and bring it home in one piece, But as a driver and owner, right, you always want the best. So I'm thinking, I'd really love to go out here and would love to have a great day and showcase what we got. And as much as I had mixed emotions about Saturday and not sure what we had and things like that, I was pleasantly surprised with the speed we had. And I think I discussed with you the track. I think about everything else other than the speed on track went wrong. So it's just working out the bug. The first time, it's looking back, you're like, dang, man, what we could have been better, things like that. And it's like, at the same time, people who are in this sport know how hard it is just to show up. And for us to show up, we put a truck on track that is capable of going out here and getting better. And, whether it be myself, whether it be other drivers in the seat, like we are going to grow. We are here to compete. And there's guys who've been in the series for years established. And we went out there and we were fast. It's just like anything else in the business, just cleaning up some house, some house orders and just cleaning those up, sorting things out, refining things. And I think as we do that and grow race to race and over the period of the season, we're going to be better as a team and as an organization. So.
Yes, 100%. And I will throw it to the boys now for questions. I'll start top to bottom. I'll go to Mason Maggio. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Caleb. I mean, you talk about owning a team, right? But I don't think a lot of people realize you own a handful of your own businesses as well. So, I mean, obviously, you're very involved with not just being a driver, but an owner and a businessman. So, kind of talk to us a little bit about that. Obviously, you got to wear a ton of hats, and that's, a tall task but it's a task you're willing to take up on. So kind of talk to us a little bit about that and kind of the work-life balance.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not easy, but you've been able to do it and you've been able to be successful at it.
I don't know how I've been able to do it. Somehow I wake up every day and just keep pushing forward with it. But it's definitely a unique part of my, or phase of my life I'm in. I own a outdoor store, hunting and fishing store over here towards the Denver area in North Carolina on Lake Norman, and bought it almost about 2 years ago now, and it's grown. It's continuing to grow. I got some really cool things happening there. It's really cool to tie in the outdoors, which is a big part of me in my life, and it's very family oriented. A lot of cool stories and things we're working on there. As a matter of fact, Hank Parker, which was one of Dallin Hart's really good friends. Hank is actually going to come by the store. We're going to be doing a little sneak peek here. We're going to be doing a special story together. Hank used to get a lot of his stuff from the store that I purchased back when he used to fish on the Bassmasters tournament. So we got a lot of really cool things happening on that side of things. And also I own a cleaning business. For the last 2 seasons, or 2 years, talking in racing terms, we were the lead cleaner for Team Penske, and so we handle all their janitorial, their building cleaning inside, and we've definitely done a lot of different types of industrial cleaning. So I do on that, and so yeah, it's busy wearing a lot of hats, and of course I have a young family. I've got almost a 4-year-old and almost a 2-year-old. So when I come home at night, I drive. It's about, which right now I'm actually headed to a dinner meeting, but tonight's kind of an exception. But when I'm not racing or I've got something planned out, usually, man, I'm trying to 6-7 o'clock. I'm trying to shut this off and just deal with all the texts and the calls and the emails in the morning. And it's definitely difficult though, right? And when you say all that, I think about and running the race team and making the calls, and I've got good people, right? People see us succeed, and I think they see my heart, passion for wanting to. I mean, ultimately, right? I'd love to do racing full time. I'd love to be, owner driver full time. I'd love to do that. But as we all know in the sport, takes money, takes resources. So I'm trying my best to my other businesses and brands, and I do all my own marketing for myself for racing and my other brands. So hopefully, one will take off, or one's going to help the other, and they'll just continue to grow all the brands at the same time and do what I can. But yeah, it is a lot of hats. I'm hoping, like I said, and I use all of those experiences to help be better on the business side of racing. And so it's one thing, again, as we know as drivers, to show up and be good. But NASCAR is a business, and if you cannot run a team in a as a well functioning business, you're going to fail. And I think if you can ultimately, from a business standpoint, run it efficiently and effectively, you can be around the sport for a long time. But you've got to make tough decisions, right? That means maybe not getting everything you want out of the truck every week, or the tires, or different things, depending on sponsors, depending on drivers. There's a lot of variables that go into all that. So, but if you can understand that and build your team around that, I think that's how you could actually, for me, have a chance to be around in the sport and have the opportunities I've had. So hope to be around for a while. Hope to have the opportunity to continue to drive muscle, see what happens. And we'll grow as we go here. So
when do you have free time? Oh, the Matrix got him.
I think the Matrix answered the
yeah,
question.
you got me back.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
The answer was no. When do you have free time? Yes. Man, Matrix getting everybody tonight.
Man.
I guess that's what happens when you drive, though. It just depends what area you're in. You might be in one area doing real good, and then you reach the bad service areas. We've all heard of calls dropping and stuff of that nature, but I'm sure this guy doesn't have much free time. From everything we've heard, everything he's done in the in ARCA and trucks, there's certainly a lot that goes into it. Because now he's back. We think.
Guys going back?
We got you.
All right.
Oh.
We see you.
Got it.
We got you.
No, guess not.
Might be on a delay. In the meantime, happy birthday, John K. once again in the chat.
Shout out John K.
Shout out John K. Him and Stephen Malazzi had a beef over the temperature for steak cooking last year.
Oh, that's right.
Now Mason's big screen here on the screen here, but nonetheless, Caleb Costner's been taken by the Matrix. Unfortunately, Tommy and Matt did not get to ask him their question. Maybe he'll come on in back here. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe he'll try again with better service.
Baby, in the meantime, I guess we could kind of segue. Unless he does come back here, we can segue up. He is back.
We're so back.
We're
back, baby.
Oh my God. There you go. That's just a little bit of the chaos 24/7. God.
All right, we got him back. All right. Anyways, I will segue it to Tommy Cook here. Tommy, please go ahead and with your question for Caleb.
Well, you said a lot of stuff that I liked in your opening there, particularly about checking boxes. I mean, what are the boxes that this organization and maybe even you as a driver need to check in the short term to maybe consider this a success?
Yeah, honestly, going to Atlanta, and this may sound cheesy for a lot of people, right? I mean, I run around a lot of guys that have raced their entire life multiple times a week, right? Like that's what they do. That's their life. Me, I never got that chance. I never got that opportunity. And I just wasn't raised like that. I didn't, I grew up racing Saturday nights at East Lincoln with a bunch of rednecks, it's just what I grew up doing. And that's which, hey, that's, nothing wrong with that. And I learned that way. And I didn't realize that, wow, kids are out here racing 3, 4, 5 times a week. I mean, that's their life. And even now running the ARCA deal, I mean, it's been great, but and again, I ran dirt late models, dirt modified, street stocks, switching over in legend cars and pro lates and all that good stuff. And, the asphalt was a little bit of a transition for me 5, 6 years ago. And then since entering ARCA, it's every week trying to get better and stuff. And I've never been in, elite equipment either. So it's like learning all these things. And then little by little, it's like, I know that I'm capable because, for the most part, as an owner, I always have to take care of my equipment, and I feel like I've always done that to the best of my ability at times. And checking the boxes to me is like, can I show up and prove to everybody else, even with the limited resources that I have, that I can be fast? And if I was in the same type equipment than other people were in, can I be competitive? And just like this past weekend, right? We've with the truck we've got, I showed up, and if you look at the charts, I mean, we had speed. I know that I could do that. And again, unfortunately, from the green flag, there you go, me. I'll admit it. I love admitting when I'm wrong, and I stepped on my own foot, put it that way, from the green flag there. And I just it had to pass through, and from that moment forward, it just seemed like that one was on me, but everything else past that point, it's just that was the start of the end. It felt like we had the main fuel line loose. Like, go figure. Like, come on, man. And then Elmore had us down 4 or 5 laps fixing that back there, and the fuel with no gloves on got an improper fueling penalty. Like, oh my god. And then you just keep going down the line of shooting yourself in the foot, and tires guys we couldn't get changed tires, and we were already on the second time by, and by the time we got done changing the rears, they were taking the green flag. I mean, it was just again constantly shooting ourselves in the foot during the race. But again, for me, as frustrated as I was by the end of the day, I'm like, man, what could have been? I mean, if you really look at it, it could have been a top 20 day. And I hate talking about like what could have been, but I mean, to show up to the first race and know that you had the speed to be able to contend, if you could clean up some things, that made me feel good about checking boxes that, hey, if we show up to the track and we can do this and that, we could have came out of here with a really good day, a different day, a different outcome, and we would have shocked a lot of people. Now, granted, I hope that we shocked people in the fact that, hey, we actually brought speed and we can actually be competitive, rather than the factors of like all the other house cleanup issues as far as people, manpower, and those types of things. So, like those are the things, I guess. And again, as far as from a check the box standpoint, it's showing that you can be there at the track every single week and be competitive, and that you're just you have a bad week, you total a truck, it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, are they gonna be back next week? And if you can show up, boom, you're there with the truck. It's like, dang, okay, guess these guys are serious. Those are the things, I guess, checking the boxes for me that I know other people in the industry are going to be looking at, and they're going to be grading. Those are all the things that maybe aren't said out loud, right? Those are the things that I'm checking the boxes in my mind as a team of how can I grow and be prepared that when it's racing, stuff's going to happen, things are going to break, cars are going to crash, drivers are going to go somewhere else, sponsors are going to leave. Like, that's just part of it. So if you have all that mindset and you understand as a business and be prepared for those things, you can better react when situations like that occur. So I think from a check the box standpoint, I guess that's what I'm looking at. I can only do so much, right? If only so much sponsorship comes in, we can only go to so many races. If only, that's the kind of things I have to look at it from. I'd love to go run full time and do some things. And who knows where we go in the future. But right now it's just in the now. We just have to be smart with the resources we do have. And I want to be as competitive as I can be when I do come to the track, and show people that, hey, I'm serious. This isn't yeah, sure, I ran for Mike for those races, but I'm trying my best to put the best foot forward, of bringing fast trucks to the track.
Yes, sir. Matt Williamson, go ahead, my friend.
Well, we're going to kind of merge two things together here. I like Mason's question about, kind of being a business owner and owning a race team and all that. But how do you go from the chaos of your week, and then like at what point do you flip the switch to being a driver? And like when you get in that truck or that car, like how do you turn all of that off and just kind of focus on the task at hand, I guess?
It's man, this is going to be a kind of a crazy answer, but I don't really know how else to tell people the truth. And that's, guys prepare, they're like, man, I've gotten a train. I do sim, or I do some sim time, or I race, or I'm at the go-kart track, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And for me, it's like, sometimes it's just like, I'm no I'm no superstar. I'm no nothing like that. But I guess what I'm referring to is the things I lack in being able to prepare. Like I wouldn't, maybe I would love to know where I'd be if I was able to do nothing all week, but study and prepare and focus on being a race car driver. Like that, man. Wow, that'd be awesome to know where that threshold would be with me. But I know when I show up to the track. And again, as an owner standpoint, right, I don't have a full-time crew chief. I don't have some of those full-time things worked out. I've never had the luxury of that. So when I show up, I'm still worrying about it getting through tech, and I'm worried about who's getting ice, and I'm worried about who's getting that pit road, and who's getting my tires, and who's got the hard, who's feeding lunch for the guys. Like, I'm still wearing the owner hat. Like, I rarely have gotten to show up to the track and say, let me focus on being a race car driver today. So to answer your question, usually it's when I freaking strap in the race car. And as terrible as that is, and again, it goes back to, I just cut it off. I just, and I don't know, again, some people may or may not know this. I was in law enforcement for over 8 years. And this is kind of what I was saying. It might be kind of crazy to some people, but one of the main reasons I ever went into law enforcement was to being able to chase people, drive fast, and shoot guns. Like, that's the legit reason why I wanted to be a cop. And I did that. And as dumb as it is, I mean, looking back now, I'm saying this out loud, I get in trouble, but it don't matter now. I used to drive the piss out of those cars. And I would, any way I could go about, like, certain areas of certain streets and area, man, I would drive and, like, I mean, get way more out of things than they probably should. And I don't care. I have fun with it. And it's dumb. I would learn little ways, and whether it being like like the Caprices, which aren't that slow cars, when they're like that. I mean, those except Corvette motors in them. So, like, I would always just do and as dumb as that may say, like, every time I had all I drove a stick shift growing up, as a kid. Like, I only wanted a vehicle that was stick shift. Like, I told my dad, and I mean, that's just what I did. And I would just play with the gears, right? Like, anytime you're under caution, you're kind of like you're working the gears. I had a kid, and I know names, but there's been multiple guys that had drove for me that had never drove an actual stick shift car, but knew how to drive a race car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And their first time driving stick shift is in a race car. And I'm like, that is insane to me. And so I feel like all those years of me doing those silly little things, all the little, just, you can't teach them. Like, it's just like a second nature. It's like just a natural feel of things that actually have helped me in years driving race cars. And so all those moments where I thought I would never get the race, and as silly as it may sound to other people, I use that like, well, if I ever get the opportunity, if I ever get and for me, I feel like that's helped me, at least my confidence at the very least. No, was it in a race car? No, but those types of little things. Like, I've always been strong on restarts. I really think it contributes back to being so good at shifting. Now, I'm not gonna get into road course stuff, but, like, I get down that path. But just those little stupid things, man, people don't think about. And again, that's my own personal take from it, because I didn't have the little areas where I thought maybe I could, if I ever had an opportunity to do. I tried to do that in the littlest ways, and I feel like that's helped over years of period of time. And now I'm getting to be better, or have opportunities to when I do get in better equipment to try to get better at things. And I feel like I've capitalized on that at times, and I want to keep doing that. And hopefully, there's enough sponsorship and opportunities with my team down the line that we're able to grow that. And I'd love people to say, wow, you know what? There's a little more here than what we thought, with this team or this guy, and never really saw it because it never really had the chance to. So I think that's kind of what fighting for all the underdogs. I remember, quick story. I remember sitting at the Barbecue King in Lincoln, North Carolina, and it was 2013, I believe, maybe 2012. Jordan Anderson was still driving dirt late models, and Jordan and me sat down with a former MRO guy, gentleman from MRO, chaplain from MRO, good family friend of mine, and sat down with me and Jordan was and I was just trying to understand the path of racing and where he was headed and things like that. And, before Jordan ever ran NASCAR or anything like that. And I took that to heart, and I followed him and his journey and how far he came through everything he's done, as successful as he, became, and everything, just never giving up. And I took that mentality to heart. Like, I really did. It's funny. I think I posted today, I shared it on Facebook, with 9 years ago, Jordan was attempting to make his first Daytona start with Mike Harmon in a 74. And here I was, I've raced, but Mike Harmon 74 truck. It's just crazy how, like, things have come full circle. And again, just looking at like, if he can do it, I can do it. And I don't know if I just took that mentality of like, but very few people are willing to understand how much you have to sacrifice and how much time, and it's not easy that it takes to do something like that. Because there's a lot of sacrifice and things that you got to be willing to do to get to this point. And so, I mean, when everybody else around you tells you, "Hey, man, give this up, quit," like just stop doing this to yourself. It's very easy to feed into that and listen to that, right? It's because I'm like, you know what, this makes sense. If everybody's telling me to do it, it must be right, right? So and then you have to, but that's again, not everybody, it's the path that not everybody chooses. Therefore, you're getting to do some things. Now, again, you got to go through other stuff that other people aren't, going through, but that's okay. So, yeah, I don't know. That's part of my journey. That's kind of, I guess, how I've got to this point. And yeah, I think I led down a rabbit trail there, but
So is the origin story of you becoming a race car driver where we can just say it was, so you were in that cop car and you were starting to chase, and you hit some apexes really well and you were like, hold on.
no, 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 man. I'm telling you, from the time I was a little kid, all I ever wanted to be was a NASCAR driver. I had a great child friend. His name was Tyler Lester. Some people may know him, people may not. He won some championships doing bandos and legend car stuff years ago. I think Tyler's about 3 years younger than me. He happened to move in for Virginia because everybody wants to make a life in the NASCAR and in the racing. Moves down to the Charlotte area, you know what I mean, the home of NASCAR. And they lived in Virginia. They moved down, and he happened to be two houses down from me. And we're out in the country, and I saw his bando trailer and a bando car. It was a '99, had barbed wire all over it. It was super cool. And I was like, man, that is it. Like, I want to do that. And begged mom and dad to go racing, and just realized money wise I couldn't. And but then I ultimately ended up getting a dirt car and racing that on my own. And when I was about 18 years old, all right, I realized that, hey, I'm not going to NASCAR. I don't have the money, don't have the pockets to do this, and got to figure something out. And then ultimately, that's when I was like, hey, drive fast, shoot guns. And I got to make a career somehow. So that's essentially how I mean, really how it led to that point. Um, uh, yeah, it's kind of wild, but and then ultimately through it all, uh, some opportunities come up down the line. There, one of my best friends, he worked for a guy that how I even got racing, even got back up. I gave up racing for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years there while I was in law enforcement, and my uncle bought a dirt car again. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, you want to drive this thing for me just for fun?" I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah, dude. I'll go to North Carolina Speedway." Went and run a couple races just to have fun. It was just, of course, just to have fun. And then that's all it took, was it scratched the itch. And then it was just like it set that fire again. I was like, man, I want to do this. And I had a friend who had never had sponsorship up to that point. And he worked for a company for a gentleman who sponsored me. And literally, first time he's like, "What do you need to make that car go faster?" I was like, "Well, I need a head. I need a built head." And he's like, "Okay, well, how much is that?" And I was like, "Oh, $5,000. He's like, "All right, done." I'm like, holy cow. Okay. He's like, "Anything else?" I said, "Well, I ain't never had a trailer. I'd like to have a trailer. How much is that?" So that's about 10,000. He said, "Done." I said, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And therefore he knew it. He helped me get some things rolling. And that's all I needed. I was like, this is possible in my head. Like, I never had somebody help me. And that's the mentality of help that I never understood. No one had really kind of give me an opportunity. Nobody ever fed into me or supported me. So I didn't know it was possible. And that's all I needed. That was the light. And as soon as that was done, I never let it go. And I was like, all right, I'm going to find my own sponsors. And since that day, I have always gotten my own sponsors, been my own marketing guy. And you have to sell yourself. Mason knows that. A lot of guys know that. Ryan Ellis does a great job of his own. And just different guys all through the sport who do that, have had to do that. You have to know how to sell yourself, sell the product, and then obviously be able to perform on track after the fact. So yeah, that's essentially just kind of the origin of how I got to where I'm at. And it's crazy. Never in my life would have anticipated getting this far after I had gave up when I was a teenager.
Exactly. It's been a long journey, man. Like we always talk about, it was a pleasure getting to know you. However, in 4 years back at this point, and
Yeah.
fast forward to now, getting to it made me happy that I got to be there for your first truck start. So that was really cool. Even though it didn't go the way you wanted it.
Sure.
It was awesome to be there and experience that flood of a truck garage that was happening
Oh my
on
gosh.
Saturday after all of that rain. But before you go, I was thinking of just one last fun question to ask you, and I wanted to ask everybody right when I was going to have you off, but I'll have you answer too. You talk about marketing and stuff like that. What do you think about the meat suit?
I mean, that can go a lot of ways right there, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Carson Quapple. This is Mason Maggio's teammate, by the way, Carson Quapple.
Oh yeah, it's true. That's true.
You don't have one of these though?
No. I've been fortunate to not have one. So I mean, because like Caleb said, you can make your own assumptions on that one. So I'd rather keep those assumptions to myself.
Caleb, you're a guy that bring good paint schemes and good fire suits to the racetrack. I've seen certainly. I guess not.
Oh,
you got us.
People calling me. Sorry, man. People asking about this.
Happens. You're a busy guy, but we'll finish it up here, my friend. I know you got a busy night as you always do. Tomorrow's busy. The next day's busy. Yesterday was busy. So
we're all busy.
I appreciate you making time for us, coming in here, giving us some laughs and great stories and good times. And you're the man. And we will certainly have you on here again down the road.
Thank you,
guys. Any special stuff? Do we know where are we seeing you next? Is it an ARCA car, truck?
So I will say I will give people a little bit of insight to that. So I'm working on something. I mean, my phone has been ringing off the hook honestly since I race. Again, I wasn't happy with the result, but I think I opened the eyes to a lot of people, and I was very thankful with the people who come on board last minute there with us, and we've got things rolling right. Most people just want to see you follow through. And that's what one thing I've been able to deliver on. I really think that we're headed in a positive direction. But as of right now, it looks like I'll be in the seat for Darlington. And we're working on some more races past that. And potentially we'll have some other drivers in the seat. So we're going to definitely work towards we're building something. I truly believe it. I truly do. I've got more support than I've ever gotten. And I'm really excited where it's headed. And I'm not that kind of person to usually say this. I didn't really do it, but I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder as far as I think there's some people out there who don't think that maybe I can do it. And, I've never really been one to be like that, but you know what? I mean, it doesn't bother me. People have been telling me I shouldn't be doing this for the last 4 or 5 years, and I just keep proving them wrong, keep showing up. So even after either the other drivers kill our cars or whatever it may be, and I've always been one to speak my mind too. So I don't have a problem in being me for who I am. And, I'm excited about the future. And if anybody, I guess, I don't know, right? It's one of those things, y'all hear me? I'm very down to earth. I'm very open-minded, can talk to anybody about anything, but I am passionate about my team and how far I've gotten and how hard I've had to work to get here. So if things were to happen down the line and anybody wanted to come to shove on that deal or I don't know, tempt me or come at me for everything how hard I've worked, there definitely would be some repercussions. So I'm definitely excited about where we're headed and what we've done and how much we built. And I just want to keep building on it and keep bringing in partners and drivers and have a good attitude about everything and just seeing how far it goes. So.
Hell yeah, man. Don't come at Caleb. He will put you down. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Well, thank you, man, for coming on. It means the world. And we will definitely have you back on here soon, man. You have a great rest of your night.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Thank y'all. We'll see you.
See ya. And there is Caleb Costner. A jack of all trades in the racing industry. Boy, yeah, don't come at Caleb. Don't mess with the bull. You'll get the horns, is what they say.
I already wasn't.
I think.
Driving NASCARs and shooting guns, hopefully not at the same time, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I've played some video games before. That sounds like Mario Kart, if you ask me. Then maybe he's good at it. So we'll have to see, but let's follow up on this conversation here because I'm not done with it.
I certainly was.
Dude, this is your teammate. What are we doing?
I know, but it's just an interesting choice for a suit. What can I say?
This show, if Motor Stardom in general, whatever page, if it's the website, wherever, if I got an Arby's sponsorship, I mean, this is the levels that I would take it. If we got any sponsorship here, this is the levels that I want to take marketing. And if it means putting like 10 different meats on your suit, then that's just something you're going to have to do. So certainly couldn't miss Carson Kvapil. And unfortunately, he was viciously taken out of Saturday's O'Reilly race. Did nothing wrong on the outside lane, going for the lead, ran a great race and was taken out. But he will most certainly look to gain points back from that. And speaking of incidents that happened in turn 3, I did want to note on this a little bit and talk about it with you guys. We talked about the finish already and how much it meant to Sheldon Creed. This is what Austin Hill had to say after the fact. When Ross Chastain is behind you, I expect to get put firewall deep. That's just the thing he does. And then after that, he happened to say, but y'all see that save though. So he made sure we all saw that save at the end here, but I'll bring it up and we could kind of analyze it here a little bit for the next 10 minutes before we head to break. But this is just something I put together from the overhead shot of the incident. Now, you put it in slow motion, and I'm always 50-50 on looking at things in slow-mo, especially racing, because, look, things happen so fast in the race car. This is the final lap of a race. In my opinion, and I'll let you guys go after me, but I don't really place too much blame on either person here. I think it's the last lap. Ross gets a hell of a shove from Sheldon Creed. He dives low, and clearly Austin Hill, he got down there. Maybe Ross didn't think he was going to make it for that block, but also wasn't going to lift because it's the final lap. You're going so fast, and Austin Hill played it right. He did what he had to do. He went down there to block, and he got tapped by the 32 car, and thankfully, obviously, didn't end up in carnage for everybody. But I'll start with Mason, who obviously behind the wheel. We talked about it, me and you. But how do you view this? And do you place any blame on anybody here, or are you kind of just like final lap?
First of all, we got to turn off the music. I can't take this seriously whatsoever.
Is it playing?
It's playing, man. It is playing.
I have it muted.
It's loud as hell. Oh my goodness.
There's no way that was
I
playing
could not
the whole
take
time.
what you were saying seriously because of the music whatsoever. But I guess to answer the question,
That's weird. It wasn't playing on the stream.
no, it certainly was on our end. I mean, Tommy and Matt can back me up. I don't know, but no. I mean,
Anyways, go ahead.
anyway, but no. To answer your question, RJ, like I agree with you 100%. It's just it's a racing deal. You got two guys trying to go for the win on the last lap in the last 2 corners, and the music's playing again. And it's going to happen. Austin Hill throws a late block. Ross has a really, really good run going into turn 3, which I feel like, in my opinion, just from going around the racetrack, that's kind of the iffy spot, if you will. It's just there's a huge bump going into turn 3, and that's where a lot of trouble tends to happen, right? So I think it was a racing deal. No question in my mind. 2 guys trying to go for the win that are both very aggressive in their own rights, and you get together, whether on either end, you can't put any blame.
All right, Tommy, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I concur. Ross is a guy that's going to go for it. Hill has to make that block, otherwise he loses. Of course, he lost anyway, but I mean, otherwise it's just Ross getting to his inside. I agree with Austin. That save, though, great save. And it's weird. The rest of his interview, he didn't really seem that upset about it until he made kind of a personal dig at Ross, which I thought was completely out of pocket. But I don't know. It's a racing deal through and through. So it's just a weird reaction. I get being upset about losing the race, even though he won the week before. But it just kind of odd.
A little bit. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I feel that. I mean, especially at Atlanta. I mean, Mason, you can speak to this. The runs that you guys are getting, like Ross is gonna have to go for that, and Austin's not gonna back down. So like he's gonna make that block, and yeah, just a racing deal to me as well. I'm kind of curious if you guys think that it makes any bit of difference that it's a Cup driver making that move to the inside in the O'Reilly series rather than one of the O'Reilly regulars, and kind of how the optics play in this at all.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. I mean, to me, I look at it as you got to base it by driver, at least thinking of what their intention is, right? So like Ross Chastain, I think we know in general he's going to go for it. But I think at the same time, Ross is a guy who this year is yes, he's got some races for Junior Motorsports, but in this situation, he's running a Jordan Anderson car for Jordan Anderson, and he probably feels that he wants to go get this win for Jordan Anderson. He wants to go get this win for Use Your Melon, the sponsor on the race car. And I think it's so early. I think it's honestly different being so early in the year to where it's like, this isn't the 24th race of the season right before the chase where, a lot of things might be different. You're thinking about points, more towards the end of the year, guys are like, oh, I don't want to get in their way. But I feel like here it's just, I don't know, no holds barred, super speedway. People love winning races. Ross Chastain loves winning races, whether it's for Nice Motorsports or for Jordan Anderson Racing or for, Trackhouse, obviously in the Cup Series. But I don't know. I feel like, I guess my consensus would be earlier in the year. People aren't caring about that as much, kind of like Kyle Busch going and kicking everybody's ass in the Truck Series. Like, hey, you don't care. He's going to go up there and slide job Stewart Friesen. Screw you. I'm going to go win this race. I mean, Kyle has, hadn't been to victory lane in a year, but I don't know. What about you, Mason? Do you think that's a good point there from Matt?
At the end of the day, when we put the helmet on, it doesn't matter, right? We're all race car drivers at the end of the day. It's no different than Dale Jr., for example, going and running the Cars Tour, right? I don't see guys, complaining. If anything, I feel like we embrace it that these guys are coming and running with us, right? And it gives us an opportunity to be better. I think a couple of years ago, being a fan, I was kind of on that fence where I was like, oh, Cup guys shouldn't be doing it. But now that I'm racing against a lot of these guys and I'm learning from a lot of these guys and what they do and how they drive the car, it makes me appreciate it a lot more that, hey, we've got, Ross Chastain, we've got Kyle Larson, we've got, these big names coming and running with us, because it makes us all better at the end of the day when we watch and pay attention. We want to be treated like race car drivers, not, oh, well, he's a regular, so I got to race him differently. If you feel that way, then you're not a race car driver because, like I said, when you put the helmet on, it's fair game. It's fair game at the end of the day. There is no label. So that's, I like it. Is it aggressive? Yes. But if you weren't aggressive and you don't go for the gap, I mean, I think Ayrton Senna said this, you're no longer a race car driver. So, I mean,
Gap car.
I think it's definitely different in a championship aspect, right? But I think I do agree with you, RJ. I think with that situation, it's a much different, or a championship scenario, it's a much different aspect where it's like, hey, guys are going for points, so that's a little bit different. But I think regular season, go for it.
Yes.
And then you got that. I think I spoke a little bit too soon when I said go for a gap.
Was Gap there?
I don't think the gap was there. Every time I've looked at it, I don't think a gap was there, especially on the onboard. I didn't think he was there.
Yeah, I mean, this one was puzzling, and I think we'll certainly talk about this more in the last half of the show. But I don't know. You look at there. I mean, technologically speaking, there's a gap, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah. To me, this incident made Brad Keselowski's 2014 move look amazing. Texas Motor Speedway. I actually watched the two again. I was like, whoa, hey, Brad might have been cooking there, actually. What's going on here?
Yeah. I think the thing you got to take in the technicality is because of it being a tri-oval, right? Those guys are going to go down low and then merge back high. So, like, versus kind of what Brad did at Texas, where it's like, well, you're already going into the corner. You're already there. Guys kind of, I don't want to say choose their lanes, but you kind of have an idea of, okay, this guy's going to go here, this guy's going to go there. I can try to thread the needle if I get the run. But, I mean, when you're going into the tri-oval and they're coming back up, that's just such a tough place to work it. Now, if he tried to go to the way outside and try to make something happen going into one, you can kind of give him a little bit of slack. But I mean, that's just I've got my own opinions, but that's just typical Carson. Typical Carson doing making interesting moves. We'll say that.
Well, we're going to leave on that interesting cliffhanger. We're going to take a little break, go grab a snack, go to the bathroom, and wish John Kay a happy birthday as well. I've said it twice, and he said he hasn't heard it each time. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep saying it. And maybe he'll hear all of us say it. Maybe we'll sing him happy birthday at the end. But we'll be back on the other side in 5 minutes. We will have Garrett Smithley, and that surely, if we haven't been having fun already, that's going to be a fun time. So we'll see you guys in Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the 5-minute break. We started off the show, had Caleb Costner on here, as well as Tommy Cook and Matt Williamson from Turn 200. We are halfway through the lineup, and it is 7 o'clock. So first and foremost, we will bring everybody back in here. Mason Maggio, Tommy Cook, Matt Williamson's iPhone. As his camera blew itself up, I'm just happy it wasn't mine, like it happened last week. But been a great show so far. Some great stories from Caleb Costner. We got the chat going on here. Checkered Flag Dan is here as always. And now since it's 7 o'clock, he had a great week. This week he was 14th place in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. An amazing bounce back from a D&Q at Daytona. The best way to bounce back from that is obviously to be in the race, but not only be in the race, but make an amazing showing. Great week for him and SS Greenlight Racing as well. Josh Balicki got 15th, but we're talking to the 14th place guy this week. So without further ado, I believe he's all ready. Let's bring him in. Garrett Smithley in the circle.
Hello.
What's up, Garrett?
Why is my what? I don't.
Where are you, Garrett?
I'm here. I'm here. Oh, hey, we did it.
Hey,
We did technology. Yay.
Yeah, 14th.
we thought the Matrix took another.
Well, you know,
technical
it happens.
difficulties the whole time. But Garrett Smithley is here, 14th in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. How you feeling, man? Are you feeling extra electric after you have a great run like that?
I am electric on and off the track. We had a great electricity sponsor this weekend with SLCC Nika, the lineman. I don't know if you teed me up for that, but that was perfect.
No, I didn't. I just be saying that all the time. But that's awesome. We're gonna act like I did.
There
Look
it
at
is.
this race car.
There is literally lightning bolts on my car. How cool is that?
He's literally Lightning McQueen.
I don't know about all that, but I mean, Lightning's the GOAT. But I felt like Lightning this weekend. We were fast on the track. Yeah, terrible week at Daytona. Just one of those things. It's one of them racing deals, as they say. And like RJ said, just to bounce back like that and to go to Atlanta, a mile and a half, which is I called it Atlanta Motor Super Speedway. That is my official name for Echo Park Speedway now, because it really is. It is insane to race out there, but you have to have a good car. You have to have good handling. You can't just rely on the draft to stay up there. So it was a really good feather in our cap. Obviously, there's a lot of attrition, but even before the attrition, we had a really good car. Probably the best that I've qualified there in that configuration. And I was super happy with it, super proud of our team, and definitely didn't quite make up all the way for Daytona, but it definitely made us feel good about it.
100%. Well, I'm glad that you had such a great week in Atlanta. We'll big screen the green screen there.
I'm blurry. What's happening? Let's fix it. Why am I blurry? I don't understand.
That happened to me. I had to switch my cameras, but
I don't have another camera. I'm not
okay.
Cool like you.
We'll switch it back down here then, so that way you look a little bit cooler. And we're all the same size. Oh, there we go. Are we're back?
I think we're so back.
Let's find
Technology is eluding me today. I don't know.
Oh, he's looking good. There we go. Let's
NASCAR driver, producer, what else? Twitch streamer, full-time hero card guy. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff going on.
Well, so this question in the chat here is fitting. We've had you on the show 2 times, one virtually, one live. The time we had you here virtually, Stephen Malazzi got stuck under his own bed on a show we were doing for an announcement that was certainly, we were, trying to be as professional as men can be. He got stuck under his bed. And then we had the live show. We had a live show at Daytona where unfortunately he spit out some water when something was brought up about you winning at Daytona. So he's in the chat asking, do you forgive him for that? I think it's still eating him up seemingly.
I do forgive him as long as the bet still stands from the last time.
I do. What was
remember
it
that?
exactly?
I remember.
We
He
have
said-
a screenshot of the
He said if I won the race, I'd get like $1,000 bonus or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
It actually wasn't a bet. It was just he said I will give you money if you finish, if you win the race. So
He did say that.
it's a personal service agreement guaranteed that if I win the race, I get $1,000. Which, if he does that, I will put whatever logo he wants on the car for the next. I'll make that deal.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
but hypothetically, I can't win the race. I will help Garrett in order to accomplish this. If I can't win, I will help Garrett accomplish.
if you're in a Carson Hocevar, you're talking like a Hocevar Kyle Busch situation here, like your car's under power and you just make the sacrifice and you push Garrett to the win.
Yeah. Well, the difference is between Kyle and Hocevar is me and Garrett actually like each other. So there's that.
I guess that is fair. So we'll have a great party that
Kyle
night.
did say that he would wear a Carson Hocevar hat if he gave him one. He did say that in his Victory Lane speech. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe bridges are being mended.
Yeah. It seems like there's some bridges mended, but there's a lot that will not. So we'll say that.
Yes, we'll see what happens there. But I will throw it to the boys already. Let's go to Mason first. Mason, why don't you ask your buddy here, Garrett, a question to get us rolling?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a off the track topic. It's something that Garrett did over the off season that I've been meaning to ask him, but I kept forgetting about it. How well did the DMing 67 millionaires and billionaires go? Like,
Yeah.
How crazy was doing that, trying to put that all together? Because honestly, I respect the creativity that you were able to put into that. So talk to us a little bit about that, how that idea came into fruition, and was it successful? Was there progress? Was there anything that could come up maybe later in the year from that?
I will say I did not expect the coverage and the support that I got, especially after the first few, and then how many times that's been brought up since the race season started by fans doing autograph sessions and all kinds of other stuff. It's pretty wild. I was at an event at this place, and Noah Gragson brought it up, and I was like, I don't really realize how much this is actually getting out there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was some fun off-season content. I had watched all of these. In fact, the video that really kind of got me into doing something like that was I follow these guys on TikTok and Instagram, and they're trying to become millionaires by like gambling, online gambling, like playing roulette or blackjack or whatever. So they said day one of becoming a millionaire. And they would just put like $1,000 on one blackjack hand, and then they would hit, and then they would double it the next week, or the next day, and then double it the next day, and then double it the next day. And I think they got up to like, I don't know, like a couple $100,000 or something like that. And I was like, this is the ultimate content hack where you just do something the same way every single day. And so I was like, how can I equate that into the racing stuff? And how can I equate that into sponsorship? And I was like, wait a minute, let me just DM like a bunch of rich people. Let me just start with billionaires. It started with just billionaires. And I was like, let's see how many billionaires we can DM. And then in looking up billionaires, like it seems like, funny enough, they're pretty gate kept on how to get in touch with them. So I was like, okay, we'll just do billionaires and millionaires. And it just became kind of like a highlight of some of these people, and some of the people that like I've grown up watching, like Kevin Hart and The Rock and like Lady Gaga, and like just people that I have naturally become fans of. Bryson DeChambeau, like I love golf. I DM'd him. So it just became like me commentating on the different people and then just sending them a DM and seeing what sticks. I have not heard back really from anybody. I will say, when I started it, what has become really successful for me is all of my sponsors reached out for the most part and said, hey, we didn't get a DM, or hey, like we still want to sponsor you. Like that's still a thing, right? And so it kind of just got the conversation going in the off season for all of my sponsors to say, "Hey, we're still here. We still want to sponsor you." So that was pretty cool.
Nice. I love to hear that. They're like, wait, don't forget about us. And
Yeah.
here we are. Now you've had some two great paint schemes to start the year. I will roll to Tommy Cook. Go ahead, my friend.
So going back to this week at Atlanta, there was a lot of talk across all three races about the track evolution. I think you've been, if my notes are right, you've been involved in all but one of the new reconfigured Atlanta races. I mean, talk about from 2022 onwards, how much this track has really changed.
Yeah, one of the number one questions that I get, other than what do I do if I need to go to the bathroom in the car? That's the number one question I always get. But after that, the number one question I get is, what's my favorite track? And to this day, I don't have any other answer other than Old Atlanta. I mean, it was funny enough. It's where I started my racing career in Bandoleros and Legend cars, running on the quarter mile. And then it's the first time I ever drove a full body stock car for the Petty experience. And then it was my first truck series race. So, it's all these milestones, and it happened to be where I grew up, about, 25, 30 minutes away from the track in Peachtree City, Georgia. So, and it was such a fun track to drive on, just the bumps. And I tell people all the time, it was like, you're like cascading, because you go off into turn 3 and the track just literally just does that. And it's like you're on waves, and it was just so much fun to drive, especially in a truck, especially in a Riley car. In 2016, my rookie season, when we had the big spoiler and big splitter, we could go wide open around that place before the tires started to wear. And I've run a bunch of Cup Series races there. You can run the bottom, you can run the top. So, I was definitely one of the ones that was very sad about Atlanta being repaved. I understand that they had to do it. I understand why. But I will say, especially after this week, I am a total believer in Atlanta. As much as I miss the old Atlanta, just the racing there is absolutely electric, especially when it comes to the Cup Series. It is so much fun to drive. I've driven the Cup Series there. I've driven the O'Reilly Series there several times, and it's a lot of fun, especially when you have a good car. I will say, I wish that we could put the big spoiler and big splitter on the O'Reilly Series car. I think that it would make the racing even better. I think it's so top line dominant when it comes to the O'Reilly cars, and you can't build the runs like you need to. And I think you would see more of the race that you see on Sunday, on Saturday, if they would allow us to just put the big splitter on and put the big spoiler on. I'm not even saying that we need to run the super speedway cars. Just put the big splitter on and put the big spoiler on. I think that it would fix anything that has to do with that racing. But it's still really good racing. It's still really exciting. And you have to be a driver there. I mean, you cannot just ride around like you can at Daytona. If you don't have a good car and you don't have the balls to just keep your foot planted and be uncomfortable being sideways, you're going to lose the draft.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Daytona. I'm sure Atlanta. I'm sure Mason feels the same way. I'm curious to how you feel about this before I go to Matt's question here. Is like, I've always felt like O'Reilly's kind of like in the middle, to where I remember talking to Tommy Joe years back, and he was like, I wish they'd take the restrictor plates off these things and just let us rip around Atlanta. And as it ages, see how the racing gets. You're on the side of, let's give us big spoilers. Let's get these runs bigger. How would you feel? Is that how the side you're more so on, as far as, you want the runs to be bigger more so? Do you think this could even turn into a track that it ages so much that they could end up taking their restrictor plates off at some point? Or do you think it'll always be a drafting track, even like 15 years down the road?
I mean, to fill the seats. Yeah, to fill the seats and to continue doing what it's doing. I mean, you see Jeff Gluck's poll every single time we go to Atlanta. It's always in the 90s. So to do what Speedway Motorsports wanted, then we need to keep it a drafting track. As a driver, I would say yes. Let's take the restrictor off. Let's run the 1.5 mile car, and let's just let us go and run. That's how I'm always going to be. But for the entertainment purposes, the Cup races, and I've been in the stands for the Cup races there. I've been on pit road for the Cup races. I've been up in the condos. My heart rate, I'm sure, is elevated the entire time because it is such good racing. The runs that those guys generate, the moves that those guys are making, especially the guys that really know how to take those runs and stay up front. It's just so exciting. And I think that if we want to keep it that way, then we can do that for years to come. It's going to get harder and harder. I will say it's already lost, some grip. You have to have a car that's good. I never ran the old Daytona, but I probably equate it more so to the old Daytona than anything, because you have to have a car that handles and you have to have a car that's planted. I can't speak for Mason and his car, but I know we were really good in the daytime. And then when it started cooling down, the front end started getting a little bit more positive. We started getting a little bit freer. And when I moved up the track, I was hanging on to it. And we had to adjust our car quite a bit for me to be able to even, keep it wide open or close to keep it wide open. Already you're having to lift a little bit, especially if your car is not perfect. So it's definitely changing. And when they first paved that place, the pavement was really, really dark. And it's crazy, even over the course of the few years since we've started running there, it's already gotten really, really light. So I'm eager to see what happens. But as far as the entertainment value goes, keep it the same and give us the super speedway package on the O'Reilly cars.
Yeah, for sure. I'd have to agree. Go ahead, Matt Williamson.
All right. So, incredible performance here at Atlanta this week. What does success at this point look like to you for the rest of the season? You have such a great finish in Atlanta. What is success going to define your season as going forward?
Yeah, I think, making all these races, for one, we certainly weren't expecting to miss Daytona. And, we missed it by, just that much. And it could have been just the fact that we went first. It could have been just a gust of wind. It was literally half a tenth for making the show. And I know Mason's been on both sides of that. So it's first making the race. I think our internal goal going into it was top 25 every week. We've done a lot of things to elevate our program. We brought in Brian Berry as our crew chief. Last year was kind of a disaster crew chief wise, just because ours left midway through the season, and we were kind of left with like a halfway part-time crew chief kind of helping us out. And then we brought in Doug Richard, which was a huge blessing to finish the year. But he was still getting acclimated to these cars. He kind of been off the box for a few years. He came with a wealth of knowledge, and the biggest thing with Doug is he had the right mentality and the right attitude for our team. So that got us to the end of the season. And then this off season, we hired Brian Berry, who's somebody that I've worked with at JD Motorsports. He's kind of bounced around different teams, but he has been such a positive thing for the number 0 team this year. And, I don't think I had any expectations going into going into Atlanta, just because Daytona was such a disaster. I was confident that we were going to make the race there, just based on, the guys that were there, and ended up having a pretty decent qualifying effort, all things considered. Beat a lot of good cars, and then raced good. I had zero expectations, knowing what we had in the past. We took that car to Atlanta before. It hadn't run good. Brian put some finesse on it. We had a good motor in the car and ended up having speed. Even before all the attrition, we were, top 20, top 20, 23 most of the day. And so that was huge for our team. That's a big confidence boost, knowing that we can do that. So I know that there's going to be places that we're going to struggle this year, but I think we've set ourselves up really well. This weekend, we have Alex LeBay in the car at COTA. He's an absolute savant at these road courses. Last year, I think he gained the most points that he did in any of his races at COTA. So I hope hope that he does the same thing there. And, hoping for another top 20 finish. Phoenix, I'll be honest with you. I have never been good at Phoenix. I told Brian, I walked in his office and said, I don't know if I suck at Phoenix or I've just never had a good car, but, that's probably the track that I have the least amount of confidence going to. But we're going to try our butts off, and I'm going to be in the simulator, at least on iRacing, if I can't get Chevy sometime. He's been working on me. We talked quite a long time today about the setup, so we're going to work on that. And then we got Cole Custer in for 5 races starting at Vegas. So he's bringing over, basically he's going to be in a full Haas factory car, labeled the number 0, and we're going to take it to the track. And he's hopefully going to kick ass at Vegas. And so I really feel like with Alex coming on board, with Cole running the races that he's going to run, and with us just improving our team, having lease motors for the majority of the season, I think it's a recipe for us to continue to grow and to continue to get SS Greenlight Racing and BRK Racing back where it belongs.
100%. And you guys certainly have loaded your team a lot more than you did last year. And there's one guy we haven't totally mentioned yet, and I'll bring him here on the screen. The guy that finished right behind you at Atlanta, and that's Josh Bilicki, who, a guy number 1, is very respected in the garage for just what he's done all over. But as we know, you mentioned Alex Labay being in the 0 car. Josh Bilicki is already the full-time driver of the 07. How optimistic is the organization that they have 2 absolute road course dogs in the race car for next week at COTA?
Yeah, it's huge. And I mean, that's a good point. Having both drivers, very, very good road course drivers, and, guys that can get the job done. It's huge for morale. These guys both have qualified and raced really good at COTA, and it just brings the morale. I know we're 2 teams. I mean, we have the 07 team and we have the 0 team, but at the end of the day, we're still in the same the same complex, coming out of the same shops. And when one team runs good, it gives morale to everybody. So if we can do the same thing that we did at Atlanta back to back with both teams, I mean, that would be absolutely incredible. And I know we can do it. And that helps all of us. That helps the visibility. And I love that Josh is with us. I mean, Josh has become a really good friend of mine throughout the years. We've been on and off the same teams. We were teammates at Rick Ware for a couple of years, and we get along really well. So we cut up and we give each other crap all the time. And, he was with some sponsors, and I walked up in his holler, and he was up there, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to smoke that 07. So I'm glad I didn't call myself a liar. He was actually going to beat me. And when Ross punted Austin Hill, he checked up a little bit more than I did, and I got him just at the line. So it's a little bit internal bragging rights, but it's all been good. It's all been fun. And if we can keep the momentum up, it's going to be good. And I'm certainly glad to have him on the team too.
Yeah, what was your view of that wreck there on the last lap? Did you see those 2 guys kind of making that move there at the end? Or?
Yeah, well, what's crazy is that me and Josh were nose to tail, and we backed up a little bit because I was like, you know what? We're going to have a good run. We're going to have a top 15 if we just finish here. So we probably could have gone for a top 10. But, I mean, you see it. He's in the black car back there. I'm right behind him. I knew that the end was going to be crazy, and the end of these races are always crazy. So we just backed up a little bit. You can see Josh there in the back of the frame. I'm right behind him. So I knew something was going to happen. And then when it was the leader, I really thought he was coming straight back up to the track and just going to clean out like half the field. So I lifted, and then as soon as I lifted, spotter Brent Wentz was like, he's straight, get back in, dig. So I just hammered down, and that was the difference between 14th and 15th for me and Josh. Yeah. I don't know if they ever showed it here.
Barely see it.
We're back. Yeah, we're back there, just racing away. But that could have been a lot bigger than it was. But it was good. I'm glad. I will say, Brennan Poole was racing for JD Motorsports, and when I was there, and we had wrecked early, and I think he ended up finishing 12th or 13th, but there was a crash, and he smoked whoever it was at the line. Had a good finish, but destroyed the car. So it was kind of like the finish was kind of null and void because all that purse
I
money
saw
was
that
gonna,
somewhere this weekend. Good
Yeah.
finish and destroyed car.
Yeah. Speaking of destroyed cars, this was crazy. Sam Mayer trying to be Travis Pastrana and didn't work out. Hashtag Team Turf.
Yes.
I mean, how crazy was that?
Yeah, that was, I mean, even just seeing that, because they were playing that on the big screen as it happened, because they were showing Sheldon Creed's race car.
And I
did they show
promise you that hurt. That hurt
Oh,
when
yeah.
that happened.
But Tommy
coming
and Matt,
down
did they
on the
show this
rails like
live?
that,
I don't know if you
yeah.
guys were watching live. Did they show this on CW as it happened, or was it just the replay?
It was a replay.
Oh, yeah, that's that. We saw it live, and the whole crowd just went gasped. Like, it was hilarious. And I wish I had the picture of the car afterwards too. You just see it on pit road, oil all over the ground on the front end. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, absolute mess. And they showed Sheldon Creed in the media center as well. They showed him the video after. He had no idea, died laughing, hysterically laughing. He thought it was utterly hilarious. But I do have one more, I guess, serious question for you, Garrett, before we start getting into stupid shit here, as we usually do on the Motor Stardom Show. But I was having a conversation with a few different people this weekend, and you know it's a thing in the NASCAR industry or any sport to bring out what we call mythical polls, right, of drivers that were in the series before and just disappeared, right? And we know a lot of those drivers that went through the same struggles that you have and Mason have, and maybe some of those drivers just gave up, right? That gave up. They stopped trying. They left the sport completely, or they found a new career in the sport but stopped driving. You, as a guy that has every year been grinding it out, and we all know, for the sponsorship deals for whatever team you are racing for, and some points in your career not knowing if you're even going racing the next week, what has been the key or keys to have kept you going all these years to where now you are, a staple in the Nationwide, Xfinity, now the O'Reilly series?
Yeah, the Grand National Series.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and I get asked this a lot. I get asked why a lot. As a competitor, I grew up, it's probably the same as Mason. I grew up winning. I grew up winning championships and races and Bandoliers and legend cars. And, I was used to that. And when you're a competitor like that, you want to keep going up the ranks, but you also want to win at the same time. And so it gets to a point where, like, you have little victories, you have little goals. You understand the situation that you're in, and you just make the most of that, and you make the best of it. I've been fortunate. I've had some really, really good runs, especially on the super speedways. Career best finish at fifth at Daytona. So those type of things keep you going. This past weekend, I mean, we were super down in the dumps at Daytona, and then to come back to Atlanta and do that. I mean, it's a huge morale boost, not only for my team, but for me as a driver. I think you go through these races and these journeys and these different race teams, and you really start to doubt yourself sometimes when things aren't going well, when you're missing races, and you're running 35th, and you're just, nothing's going right. And then all of a sudden, it turns around. So for me this has always been what I wanted. I mean, this has been my goal since I was a child, since probably before I even knew it was my goal. I wanted to do it, and, getting a late start and starting my journey at 15 years old. Honestly, NASCAR wasn't in the cards for me, but I just kept pursuing it, and I kept trying to find a way. And, I have a motto that goes on my dash every single week, and it's patience, never give up. And that's been on every single race car for the most part since my very first race car. And so I've lived my career by that, and I'm always pushing myself to do better. When I came into this, my goal, I call it my stupid crazy goal, was to be in the Hall of Fame. And I knew that if I had that goal, that end goal, that carrot out in front of me, I was going to continue to push myself, continue to try to do better and better and better. At 33, is that going to happen? Probably not. But I know that it's pretty freaking cool to make a living as a race car driver. And so knowing that 5-year-old me wanted this so bad keeps 33-year-old me motivated. And I'm always trying to find that next sponsor, and I'm trying to find that next opportunity. I've been so fortunate with Beth and Randy and BRK Racing partnering with Bobby and SS Greenlight. I've been so fortunate to have the stability for the last, this is second year having this stability. Before that, it was kind of trying to figure it out. I had some opportunities with Johnny Davis, and, I had to deal with BJ McLeod that completely fell apart in the third race. And prior to that, I had a great opportunity with Rick Ware Racing, racing the Cup Series, and, having a ton of Cup Series starts, which again, I never even thought that I was going to be able to race a Cup car, and I have 60 something Cup starts. So those type of things keep me going, having the little goals, having the support around me, having the family that I have around me. I have a huge Western Pennsylvania contingent that is always supportive, being from one of the only races from the Western Pennsylvania area. It's a really, really good group up there. And then my sponsors, they keep me motivated too. I always want to better myself. I want to win a race every single time I get in a car. I want to build Bobby's program where it is competitive to where we can win races. I want to have that shot like Ryan Preece had, like Ross Chastain had, like Alex Bowman had, all these guys that started in the position where we're at, and got themselves to, full-time Cup rides and winning at the highest level. So all of those things equate to my passion and my drive, determination to stick around and keep doing it. And I'll tell you what, running 35th, even on the worst days, or worse, or blowing up or missing the race, it beats being on the couch. So that's always kind of been my motivation, and I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I possibly can.
I must say, there's a lot of times during a stream where the viewer count will go up and down. Nobody left during that speech. That was beautiful, Garrett.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Garrett. That was fantastic.
I felt that one spiritually. So
I felt it. I felt it in the heart. And before we even move on to anything else, I don't know if any one of them are watching, Beth or Randy, but big shout out to Beth and Randy. Garrett already gave a shout out. Those people are great people, love racing, involved in the sport, have helped Garrett Smithley, and plenty of others as well. And so they do a great job in the sport, and everybody over at SS Greenlight Racing as well. We have a question. We've had a few questions here from the chat, but we got a great one here from the chat, from Seamus. Garrett, having known Mason for a good few years now, give us your best Mason Maggio story that we can tell on air.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, God.
It just happened at Daytona. So
okay.
Me and Mason had, colossal failures of a Daytona run this past couple weeks ago. And, I'm sitting there, and, we're at my girlfriend's campsite, and we're sitting there in the chairs just hanging, and here comes Mason. And I'm just I'm not really feeling sorry for myself because it is what it is, but, I'm having a couple Stellas. And Mason walks up, and I'm like, Mason, you might be the only guy this weekend that had a worse weekend than I did. Because I truthfully, and I want to ask you guys, is it worse missing the race, or is it worse making the race and then not even getting to the start-finish line on the initial start? I mean, what's worse? I don't know. I don't know what's worse.
I feel like people don't qualify for races all the time. and that crashing before we take the green flag hardly ever happens. I'm
That's
sorry,
what I'm
Mason.
thinking.
That was rough.
It was so like not funny, right? Like we laugh about it now. We laugh about life, live, laugh, love, as they say on the posters in people's bathrooms. But for Mason, I think it was last week on the show. Anybody we ran into at the track, it was like, "Hey, Mason, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm so sorry." Like, even Caesar when he came in this on the stream last week, didn't he give a good like, I just gotta give sorry to Mason, bro. Like,
So
the whole time
we had a nice laugh about that, and me and him, kind of weeped in our wallow. But the funniest part about that whole thing was the fact that he rolls up and he is carrying the smallest can of Michelob Ultra that I have ever seen in my entire life. And the whole time we're like, "Oh, he could lift a full can."
All right, to be fair, I'm going to give a shout out to Jason White. I was empty-handed the whole day, and he's just like, "Yo, man, you want a beer?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll take one." And he's like, "Well, we got a bunch of these mini Stellas here, so and my wife and my daughter aren't drinking any. You just want the whole thing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm empty-handed. I had a rough day. Just give me something." So, I'm not. Apparently, I'm not living down the little Stellas.
That was the best. That anything that I was upset about went away when I saw that little can. It was the best.
What Jason
I made somebody happy.
He said the little can makes your hands look bigger, but I get that, but for example, that's not what Garrett thought when he saw Mason the first time. I don't think Garrett looked at Mason and was like, "Damn, that guy's got some big arms." He looked at Mason and said, "Damn, that's a tiny ass beer."
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. Get yourself a tall boy, Mason. So the next time I see you, Mason, you better have a tall boy.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. We're making it happen.
Yep.
Oh man, so my phone says JGR has filed a restraining order against Chris Gabehart. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. I want to move on to something we already talked about earlier. Garrett, need your opinion. What do you think about the meat suit? You saw it in person. Mason Maggio's newest teammate here. What do we think?
That's right. That is that's certainly a fire suit. It is a fire suit. If I squint, your hoodie kind of looks like that fire suit.
Oh yeah. I had to think you were talking about for a second. Yeah.
RJ's got the meats.
Mine's like mine kind of I feel like mine's more like an orange creamsicle, you know what I mean? And
you know what we need? We need a side-by-side with Lady Gaga's meat dress. I think Carson Quaffel's meat suit, Lady Gaga meat dress.
People kept putting that. I kept seeing that on Twitter.
Iconic. He could wear that to the Met Gala. He could pull it off.
He could.
I was gonna say that's red carpet material.
I will say, regardless of what your thoughts are on the suit, like I love artist ingenuity when it comes to NASCAR. And whoever designed the suit had a vision, and they did it. They did the vision.
They did it. They did do the vision. I like it. A lot of meats on there. I gotta say, quick shout out. I did try the Arby's, whatever they call it, the meat and 3 box for $7.99. Banging, I gotta say. It was smack. Has anybody else tried it? No. They only got
Arby's, but I do love Arby's.
The last time we were on here, Steven was talking crap about Arby's. And guess what happened to him?
Got sent to the Matrix.
He got stuck in a bed. Actually, his camera went out, and then it got stuck under the bed. So I'm just saying.
We were showing somebody that the other day. It was awesome. Oh yeah, after the whatchamacallit, the Atlanta race. But anyways, I love a tradition here of pulling up old pictures of people and putting them on stream. Talk about a sharp looking suit right here. I don't know what the context of this was. This was just on Google. Every guest that we have on, I will Google search their name and see what comes
Mhm.
up there. And this was it. This was Garrett Smithley, like 4th photo of you on Google.
First of all, I mean, let me put these on because holy smokes! I mean, the pink on that suit. I mean, shout out to Rich Marr for just putting me out there. I will say I get a lot of compliments from that suit. I'm not really sure what the context is here. It looks like maybe I'm doing some type of smolder. I know I'm in the Cup Series because I was clean shaven, and I always was worried about. I mean, I'll tell you what, the Cup Series and the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series, all the garages, like the Cup Series is just, it's on a pedestal. It's on another level. I mean, just walking in there, like you're worried about how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, what your hair looks like. I mean, and not as to say that I'm not worried about that, but it's a different level walking into the Cup Series garage. So I was clean shaved. I feel like I could pull off both. I like the beard a little bit better. Shout out to TriStar. Kelly over at TriStar. We were going strong with TriStar in the Cup Series.
The chat's little wallpaper for sure. Checkered flag dad. Then I found this other one. This is kind of a throwback here.
That's a big throwback.
To the number 0 days, which was
number nothing.
Which was great. The number nothing, which you are now back in, restoring glory to that great number. It was funny because I like to twiddle around iRacing a lot, and I made a car set for the series ahead of this year. They didn't have any of your updated schemes out there, but they sure did have a big number 0 flex seal shot tape. I think there's 3 on there. Yeah. Thick rubber adhesive sealing. I didn't realize the detail in these suits, but I guess kind of to segue to ask you, because I think somebody even asked me, they were like, why'd Garrett Smithley bring back the 0? I was like, well, he was ripping it before, and I know you wanted to pay homage. What was the main reason for bringing back the 0? Was it kind of just to kind of pay homage to your history before the history of Garrett Smithley?
Yeah, so there was a lot of conversation this offseason about the numbers. I mean, honestly, we had some conversation about the number going into 2025 with Beth and Randy, and we just decided to keep the 14 just because a lot of things were changing, and we wanted to have a little bit of continuity. But the 14 was never Bobby Daughter's number. The 14 was a number that I believe they got from Colleague when they ran the 14 with Daniel Suarez. So I thought it was a cool cross between Bobby's identity in the sport and my own identity in the sport. Bobby was always 07, 08. And for so long, I drove the 0 car. I believe, 2016 was the first year I drove the 0 car. So this is the 10th year, 11th year I've driven the 0 car. So, so we brought it back. We did a lot of fun marketing stuff with it. The number nothing was a big thing. We sold a lot of merch with that. It's kind of became like a cult following because we drove it for so long. We did some fun stuff with JD Motorsports. We had Flex Seal. They were such a fun sponsor and a great partner. And I thought it'd be cool for me to be the 0. Josh is the 00, or the 07. So we could be 007. I thought that was kind of cool. And actually, when we were going to go to the test, we talked about doing a James Bond themed 007 car at the test. Of course, we didn't go because of all the weather stuff and, all that. But I thought it was a cool cross with my identity, Bobby's identity. Everybody was happy with it. So we ran it. And I certainly feel at home driving the 0 car for sure.
What's Phil Swift doing right now?
That's a great question. I texted
literally
him
right now.
I texted him this offseason, and we tried to do a deal, and we just couldn't put it together. I was this close. We actually use a fair amount of Flex Seal products on the car, and we did back in the day at Johnny Davis. Flex tape. I finished 8th with a hole in the side. I wish we could pull that picture up because there was a giant hole in the side of my car. It was 2017 at Daytona, and I finished 8th, and it was all flex tape on there. They use flex shot all the time. They have the flex caulk, which is fun. So they've got the flex. I think they have white and black caulk. So
was it Daytona the daytime race?
Yeah, yes, it was a daytime. Well, yeah, I think maybe we finished at nighttime. There was like 6 or 7 green white checkers, and Tyler Reddick maybe won. I can't remember.
I think I remember that.
But yeah, Flex Seal's great. They don't pay me anymore, but they're great. I had some amazing times with Phil Swift at their holiday parties, and Phil Swift is exactly how he is in the commercials. He has that kind of type of energy all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know RJ is like locked in trying to pull up that photo. I can tell. I see it in his eyes.
He was, yeah. I was just doing a Flex Seal commercial here. Oh, there he goes.
Oh man, it's gotten all of us.
Man, the Matrix.
Not me. Jinx.
It's taken all of us. Almost all of us. We're still here. RJ got so locked into trying to find that photo, he's left.
This is like when the teacher has to leave in the middle of class. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah, good question. He just tells me what to do. I just do it. So there we go.
There it is.
I tried to pull up. I tried to save the picture. I found a picture of your car on Google. I deep searched, went to save it, fried everything. So we're not. We're not getting that picture. I'm sorry, but
this was this was a good picture too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A little finger pointing.
Yep, little finger pointing.
I was gonna ask before
I did that. That was like the Bernie Sanders. Remember Bernie Sanders? He kind of did the whole finger pointing.
Okay. Inspiration, a little inspo. Yeah, you've been a guy. I know Mason, when he comes out for driver intros, he always hits a little something on it. He usually throws a hat or something, and then
I want to talk about this. I think driver intros are so boring right now.
I agree.
And I think we need to spice it up. You know what I would love to do? My dream, and maybe this is kind of a spoiler because I'm going to do it one day. I'm going to come out with a big old t-shirt cannon and just launch that sucker. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you.
I like it. I mean, I like the all-star ones that they used to do, or like the whole crew comes out or whatever. I mean, I guess that's a little overkill for every race, but I was literally thinking of this as I was watching Atlanta driver intros. It's like, we need NASCAR to partner with WWE Productions, bring an LED type stage. We need some pyro going on. We need every driver to have their own theme song. You know, what's your theme song? If you had to pick a theme song.
Oh, that's a great question. My hype song is The Hum by Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike. It's an EDM song. Okay. So that is like my let's go. Like, let's get after it. Like, if you want me to like shotgun a beer, like you play that song and I'm all in.
Perfect. So, okay, let's go around here real quick. Tommy, what's your walk-up song?
Well, I actually trained to be a professional wrestler for a little over a year. My song was going to be "Girls" by the Beastie Boys.
There you go.
Nice. Okay, Matt, your turn.
I mean, I got to steal one. There's nothing like the glass breaking, right? I mean, that's the greatest WWE theme of all time. You got to go with it.
I like it. All right, Mason. What are you walking out?
I don't know, man. I got so many songs that like suggested in my head. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Just Like You by 3 Days Grace. I feel like that'd be a pretty good one. Like to walk out to. That's pretty good headbanger for sure. I don't know. I'm kind of a early 2000s like metal, or like maybe even something along those lines. I don't know. I like a little bit of everything, so it's really tough to say. But that's one of the first ones that popped into my head.
I'm laughing because somebody in the chat keeps calling Mason Maggio a thumb.
What?
He said, "Kid bottom left looks like a thumb." God. Jeez.
It's like the Thum Thums from Spy Kids. Remember the
Oh
Thum
my god, I
Thums?
was
Oh,
just thinking
God.
that.
That's
Oh, no.
bonkers.
Yeah.
That
Throwback.
explains a lot. That explains a lot.
I got to
gosh.
pick my Bristol walkout song one time because I got to run the Bristol night race, and I picked "Sweet Victory," which is the song that they played in SpongeBob for the Bubble
Oh,
Bowl.
Yeah.
that's great.
And you had I actually there's a TikTok I posted a TikTok about it like forever ago, but you got to introduce yourself, and so I came out and I said, "Garrett Smithley, driver, the blah 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 Chevrolet, welcome to the Bubble Bowl. If you know, you know." And it was playing "Sweet Victory" in the background. It was like that was peak. That was like my I made it in racing moment. I got to do the Bristol walkout song. It's
I
incredible.
remember that so vividly, and I remember that being so popular because everybody's like, "Oh my god, he did the thing!" And
They
it's so
showed NBC showed 3 intros. It was Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Garrett Smithley. That's the only 3 that they televised. So
So is that how it got out there
I-
so much? Because
they televised it. Yeah. And then it went viral on Twitter, and of course the millennial crowd was like, "This guy's awesome." So I love doing that stuff though. I mean, like I wish we could. I do wish that they would let us all have our own walkout songs, because having that identity is good for all of us. I mean, I think if we pick it at the beginning of the season, they have the people that can put all that stuff together in a mix, or at least have it like ready. And I don't think that would be very hard. I think that's another way that we can all have our own identity. Now, I would have to think long and hard because I don't think that I would walk out to the hum. I would have to go to Spotify and do a deep dive, but I would find a good one for sure. And it would get everybody going. It would get everybody hyped.
I'd certainly believe you on that. I thought they would at least do some stuff for like Championship 4. I mean, they do upgraded like intros, but I still was hoping for like a little bit more. I know this year they were like, "Here's Sydney Sweeney." I was like, "What the hell is this guy?"
That was so random. It was like Sydney Sweeney's out here. She's scared to check her flag, and she's like, "Hey, the drivers are ready to go." And I was like, "Whoa, what in the world's happening?"
I put out a tweet about that, like as a joke, and it blew up way more than it should. I'm like, guys, it's not that serious.
That's good.
Like
If
to promote
your
a
tweet
movie.
blows up, that means you're doing something right.
Exactly. Well, Garrett, I appreciate you joining us, man. As always, you were always welcome here. I do have one last proposal. If we decide here to dedicate an entire episode to Flex products, will you bring Phil Swift with you to come on the show?
I mean,
Would he do it? How much do you know
I
this
certainly
guy?
would ask him. I mean, we're on a first name basis. I can text him.
There you go.
How about this? I will ask the question. How's that?
Okay.
Not to promote Flexio, but I met a guy named JonTron through Flexio.
No, you met JonTron? That's crazy.
You have you not seen my video with JonTron?
I must have missed it.
You got okay. Go to Google or YouTube, and this goes for everybody, all of our viewers, all of our millions of viewers out there. Go to YouTube, type in Garrett Smithley JonTron or JonTron NASCAR. We did an 18-minute video. I took him to Hickory. He rode with me. We did go-karts at Trackhouse Motorplex. We were racing the Roval, so we brought him out to the Roval. We did a whole video together, and it was awesome. JonTron was incredible. If you don't know JonTron, he's a big YouTuber, done a lot of stuff. He's kind of backed off a little bit. I know he's had a kid, got married, that whole thing. Charlotte, his wife, is great. I've stayed with him up in where does he live? Northeast, up in New England somewhere. Great dude. So if you haven't seen the video, go watch it.
I'll have to watch it again. I do remember this from when that stuff was all hot.
I want to hear some feedback from Tommy too after he watches it, since he knows JonTron.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll make sure to get some feedback from Tommy. Send the feeler over. we'll see how he feels. We can even bring all the old, get a JD Motorsports, driver crew going on here. Whoever, still out there willing to come on here. We could do a whole episode. I think we'd have a fun time. But again, thank you for coming on. Most importantly, congratulations on the top 15 this weekend. We'll be rooting on SSGL, Bobby Daughter and crew this weekend at COTA. And we'll see you in the car soon after that.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you to Garrett Smithley, 14th place finisher at Echo Park Speedway. Didn't even realize that he passed Josh on the final lap there. That was cool. They weren't really showing that. You could barely see it there in the screen. But nonetheless, solid fun. A lot of laughs on this episode, boys. I do want to, note on it real quick. I'm trying to, while Garrett was speaking, while we were doing this stuff, I was really trying to unpack what's going on here. Joe Gibbs Racing, yes, has filed something seeking a temporary restraining order on Chris Gabehart, stating that he must cease and desist working or performing any services for Spire, similar to those he provided for Joe Gibbs Racing for 18 months following February 9th, 2026.
Wow. Dang.
So there.
It's getting serious. 0 days without nonsense. We're back.
Yeah. I thought I had enough trying to figure out what court process was like the last year and a half. And now we got this going on. So, that is some crazy stuff that to everybody watching just came out a few minutes ago. When you think things are not going to escalate, they do. I don't know how else to put it. That's what we learned in the last NAS court. So here we are again talking about NAS court. So I do, before we get into all of our closing statements here in the show, want to give a quick few shout outs, aka the graphics I've queued for the show. Shout out to Keelan Harvick. 13-year-old kid just signed a deal with Toyota. That happens every day. But they clearly look at this guy as the future. I mean, he's been going out there and winning races. So, making history. Youngest driver to do a few things right now over the past year, running that number 62 late model. So Rackley, that'll be converted over to a Toyota. He'll stay with them. And we'll see where that future ends up. Every time I switch a graphic, I don't know if you guys can see it, Mason Maggio's dead screen that he left up at the top keeps showing up. But Colin Brown is returning. Had to dig this picture out of the archives here and post it. I love posting old pictures. So Colin Brown is returning this weekend in St. Pete. That will be awesome to see him there. Shout out to Tyler Reddick for going back-to-back, just like team owner MJ holding up the two. I'm so glad I found these two pictures that were somewhat very alike. Put them up and top. Shout out to Friendship, guys. Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed, after their spat a few years back at Martinsville, they seemingly are best friends. Austin Hill gave him a beer shower in Pit Road. Shout out to Jesse Love, who'll be running his first cup race of the season this weekend at COTA. Shout out to SVG, who was on the hot lap this weekend at Atlanta, wrecked 2 times. The guy spun out. The guy got absolutely destroyed by Kyle Larson to end, I believe it was the second stage. And then again, later in the race, and still somehow that Red Bull car, I don't know if there's a secret, I don't know what's going on there, but the Red Bull car has a superpower, and he was still able to, was in the top 5 there in the last lap and finished 6th. And then as things to look forward to this weekend, I'm doing a little different stuff this weekend. Won't be at the Cup and Xfinity race at COTA. I've already done back-to-back at Daytona, Atlanta. Been an absolute blast. I'm going to be doing Monster Jam this week in Tampa, live on the grounds Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's going to be fun. And then even more fun, how about this? St. Pete. I've been here the last 2 years, but guess what? NASCAR was like, we're going to join you guys down there. So the truck series are going to be racing on St. Pete. Let me just tell everybody watching right now, it's going to be one of the stupidest races you've ever seen. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be sick. But these fans that go down here and go to this race, it's been a tradition. St. Pete, this area, it's St. Pete Grand Prix. Everybody down here goes to that race. they love open wheel. They see the Miatas. They see, the USF 2000, NXT, and obviously the weekend cap by IndyCar. They're used to that type of racing. Well, guess what? We're going to put the Craftsman Truck Series on tight confines where half the field is drivers that, well, majority of the field never raced on this track before. Some of the drivers haven't even driven a truck before. And we're going to put them all on this racetrack for however many laps they're running them. It is going to be an absolute show on Sunday afternoon, 12 o'clock. But I'm looking forward to this week. Monster Jam, St. Pete Racing. It's going to be a good time. If you had to, are you guys, Tommy and Matt, are we looking forward to the truck race at St. Pete? Are you guys going to be able to watch it live? Because it's on Fox. I feel like it's going to be must see. It's going to be chaos. See what happens.
Yeah, I enjoy St. Pete. I got to say as well, the first ever Monster Jam show I caught on TV was at Raymond James Stadium. So that's a near and dear one to my heart. So I'm excited for you for that. But yeah, trucks at St. Pete. I'm excited to see Dario Franchitti back behind the wheel. I know he was on the Dale Jr. download today. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, 100%. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I said this before Daytona with some of our friends. The truck series for me this year has been like the most must-watch series of the year so far to me, just with all of the drivers coming in and out. And I think it's going to be really exciting. And I love that. I used to go to the Indianapolis double header when they had IndyCar and NASCAR together at the road course. And I think having both of those series together brings a lot of people together. And I think it's really cool that they're kind of doing something together again. So yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome weekend.
Yeah. Going to be a fun time. I certainly can't wait for that. And Tommy, Matt, before we send you guys off here, before we wrap up, just give everybody kind of an explanation where they can find you guys, what you guys have done, compared to the past. We've had you on before when we were active in the Venom Truck Series. You guys have kind of stepped back. You're driving now in the Venom Truck Series. I think we're all teammates. I don't know exactly how this year's shaping up, but kind of just let everybody know where they can find you, what you guys are still, up to during the year and just your guys' daily lives.
We've kind of stepped back from broadcasting on Turn 200. We'll still be doing the Daredevil series during the spring and fall. We'll also be doing some special events throughout the course of the year. I broadcast in real life. I'm the voice of Jacksonville Speedway in the MOA Sprint Car Series. You can catch me on Friday nights on Dirt Vision. If you're looking for a good time, April 17th, the greatest show on dirt, World of Outlaws at Jacksonville Speedway, 2024 race of the year. I'll have that one with Johnny Gibson. We'd love to see you there. Also, USAC Midgets for the very first time at Jacksonville on August 29th. It's the Sunday after the Knoxville Nationals, whenever that is. So those are two big time events at Jacksonville. We'd love to see you there.
Awesome. How about you, Matt?
Man, catch us on Turn 200. I'm a little bit out of the game in the racing world now that we're just kind of driving and not doing a whole lot of broadcasting. So, you can check me out on YouTube if you want to at Matt Williamson. Look me up. I do some music, some country music writing. So you can check some of that stuff out. But other than that, we're plugging away and excited to be teammates with you in the Venom Truck Series this year. We're gonna have a blast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to get my feet wet a little bit more behind the wheel. I've been telling Mason, sometimes he'll give me a ring at night. I'll be like, man, I'm on the sim, I'm on the sim, get my feet wet. He knows most of the time running a super speedway, but let me tell you, after 10 C-fixed races at Atlanta, I've never ran that many in a row. I need to get my iRating up, for any iRacing ball knowers that are watching. I sat at a 900 iRating for the last 3 years because I just hadn't been running officials. I'd get on and I'd run Venom and maybe a few hosted races here and there when I could, but that was about it. But, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of loading up into these lobbies and being looked down upon, I'm tired of people looking at this 900 iRating guy and being like, why is he in here? So I raced at Atlanta and somehow did really, really well. And we got that up to 2K. So really, really, really happy about that. I think I'm just going to leave it there. I'm done with officials for a little bit, but excited for the Venom season. I have it on my calendar for the Motor Stardom Show. My plan is that I believe it's in March, I think, or April. I mean, we're coming up on it already, the start of the season. So I plan on doing something special for the kickoff of the season. So we'll get you guys back in here. in a month or so, whenever that first race is exactly. And we're going to do a little Venom Truck Series kickoff here on the Motor Stardom Show. How about that?
It sounds like a plan. Looking forward
That's
to it.
good.
Perfect. Well, it was such a pleasure having you guys here. Thank you for being here. We had an amazing time. I don't know. Personally, this is one of the more funner episodes I've had. I've been over here giggling at everything, even the chat, calling Mason Maggio a thumb. So,
random thing ever on the show by far.
Yeah,
that was more random than Steven getting stuck under the bed. Like, what are we doing?
A lot of stuff on this show. We'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for coming in here, and we will chat here live very, very soon.
Thank you. Medium steaks.
Medium steaks, Matt.
Medium steaks. There we
Yeah,
go.
medium. I'm all the way.
All right. Big medium here. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right, Tommy and Matt. Had to give the steak clarification there at the end. That is something that is super, super necessary, as we talked about. It's just going to be a Venom tradition here, asking people how they like their steaks cooked. So, man, what a show. The 2 hours of the Motor Stardom. Thank you for everybody that has stuck around the entire show. I believe I'm not I can't look at every number here. Now it may be because we've been 2 hours here, maybe the aura of Garrett Smithley. But I believe in total of unique viewers, for a Motor Stardom show, we have broken that record. Most viewers, I believe, from start to finish. So thank you guys all for tuning in, whether you tuned in for a little bit, whether you tuned in if you're driving or eating dinner or like everybody in the chat's been here the whole time. Checkered Flag Dan, Seamus, we got Bobby J in the chat, Double R Sim Racer, calling Maggio a thumb. We got Scott has been in the chat. Oily Melon is in the chat. GBO Farms, John K. Yes, one last happy birthday to John K. He was in the chat.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John. So thanks everybody for watching. We got some crazy storylines, I guess, to unpack this week. Stay tuned to your usual reporters. Bob Pockers is always going to be the best on that, but Motor Stardom as well. We will cover the Chris Gabehart drama that is seemingly brewing here. But we got a great weekend ahead at COTA. We got a Cup Series race on Sunday. We got an O'Reilly race on Saturday. It's going to be bump day as well. 40 cars going for 38 spots, and those road course qualifyings for O'Reilly are always huge, especially third race of the season. We're still going off last year's points. A lot of things can happen in that race when you're going to be bumping two cars, and the cars at the bottom of the owner standings got road course aces in their race car. So it's going to be cool to see how things shape up. And like I said, Monster Jams in Tampa this weekend. You'll see some of that on Motor Stardom. We got St. Pete racing, 5 different series in St. Pete. There's so much racing this weekend. And I'm excited to at least be there for half of it in St. Petersburg. So anything else you got, Mason, before we sign off here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. This is one of the more fun shows that we've had. Really cool to have, Tommy and Matt on the show with us. Cool to get to see those guys again. Caleb was fantastic, even with the Matrix trying to sweep him from underneath us, but we still got him. And kind of getting to see his world, not just from a driver's perspective, but from a business owner's perspective and a team owner's perspective. That was really cool, as well as being a police officer. It's so interesting hearing these guys' stories, and then getting to talk with our good friend Garrett Smithley. He's always going to be a fun time on the show, but definitely one of the more fun episodes we've had. But looking forward to some road course action for NASCAR this weekend. Always exciting to see these big 3,400-pound stock cars swing it left and right, shifting gears and trying to disappear. So, but no, we're great show tonight. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, all of our loyal viewers in the chat. So it's been a great episode, and we're looking forward to a great weekend of racing, and looking forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday on the Motor Stardom Show. So we appreciate